Okay, we are active.
Should we bring Dr. Wookiee up now, or are we waiting?
We'll wait. Just let him know in the background. We'll talk to him.
Okay.
Is he here? Is he here? Can you hear me?
Yes, he is.
Here? I see him. Is he here? Can you hear me? Yeah.
What's going on, Billy Goat Tales fam? This is not the normal person you're used to seeing in the number one seat based on the quadrant, but this is the Biomex. I'm going to bring Crypto Pollo back up on stage here, and I just want to welcome you to our Sunday stream. Today we have a GALA node economics explained with the real Dr. Wookiee. He's on with us in the background, and he'll be joining us. Oh, there he is right there down below. Welcome, Dr. Wookiee. And we're going to talk about the founders nodes, music, film, emerging opportunities. But first, we'll do a little bit around the horn, around the table. Redman, what's going on with you? Can't hear you, Redman. Turn that mic up.
Can you hear me now? Can you
Yep.
hear me now?
Gotcha.
All right. I'm Redman at BGT, and I just want to say welcome to everybody here. Alexandra G, Wick's wife, Pollo's here. We got Darren Does Things, Andy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and over to you, Jimmy. Jimmy, your mic is muted.
What's going on, Jimmy Jim?
What's up,
Jimmy
everyone?
Jim.
Hit the old easy to hit mute button there. Nothing excited about today. Share a little info on how good or bad a investment GALA nodes, and talk about some new opportunities today. Watching the portfolio grow. Life's good.
Pollo, or no, sorry, Dave Digital. Kick it over to Dave Digital.
What's going on, everybody? Just hanging out, working in the background. Let's see what we got going on. Lots of questions I've seen recently about GALA in different chats. So we're going to get into the deep dive today.
Crypto Pollo, you got a special hat on there. What's going on? Crypto
Yeah,
Pollo?
man, I'm feeling this Christmas, man. I was, want to get the spirit early. Had a really nice time with the fam over the weekend. Hadn't seen a lot of them, so a lot of them came down. So, man, just being grateful.
Christmas hat.
And yeah, man, it's a Christmas fedora. So
That's a diehard hat. That's what it is.
Yeah, man. So, hey, maybe I'll wear one every single week, a different one. I'll get them sillier and sillier and sillier. But yeah, man, just getting ready for the holidays. I got to travel. I'll be in Puerto Rico next week at Arcadia, which is it's a giant rumble. I guess it's like a battle royale. That's what it's called. But yeah, man. Other than that, just like I said, man, enjoying. Killing it with the trades, loving this price action. Hopefully we continue. And I will bounce it now to Dr. Wookiee.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, Dr. Wookiee.
Doing
Let's
well.
go.
Doing good. It's been a good 2024 here, and man, I was listing everything out on my Excel here, all the different nodes I have. It's a lot. It's a lot of different nodes at this point, but yeah, hoping some nice passive income over the next, honestly, 3 to 4 years. Because I think a lot of these projects are going to be, have decent success for sure.
Cool. Well, once again, I'm Tex-Mex, Biomex, and I'm going to give you a little bit of our mint information that we have going on. As we have our mint going on December 15th. So I'm going to share my screen here in just a second. You're going to be able to find a lot of our information. Hey, what's going on? You're going to be able to find a lot of our information on the Billy Goat Tales website, so billygoattales.io. On that upper right-hand section, there's the social media stuff here. Let me see if I can click over there myself. There's social media there, Collab Hub. Under more, there's going to be NFT mint info. So that's some of the information, some of the basic stuff that you can also find in our Discord. But let me open that up a little bit. So as you know, there's going to be 10 NFT book covers. So like most NFT projects have all these different traits and other features going on. We're pretty much just going to have our 10 NFT book covers. Those are the different options. There's 30 chapters of content based on 30 weeks of X spaces from last November to June. As you know, we had over 170 speakers, crowdsourced leadership, professional development book, as well as talking about crypto. Much of the book, about 2/3 of it, are about crypto. So chapter 0 is the preface. You're going to be able to learn about the project for anybody new or anybody you share it with. They're going to understand kind of the background, some of the bios of the team. And then on chapter 31 is the appendix. You're going to see every single person that spoke in every chapter. For those of you that are YouTube influencers or other content creators, you're going to see your links to your YouTube listed down below in each chapter. So we thank you for joining us. We thank everybody, not just creators. We thank everybody for giving us their valuable input and time to join us through our season 1. And we continue in season 2, as you know, every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. So there's going to be the trait that identifies access to the chapters is the cover. So cover 1 is going to be the strength of community. It'll give you access to chapters 1 through 3. And there's going to be 120 of them. Chapter 2, power of persistence. Chapters 4 through 6, and all the way down to chapter 10, the love principle, is going to give you access to those last 3 chapters. For anybody who was a speaker that still wants to get that white list, we have adjusted our price. We are still going to, give ourselves to maybe till the week or 2 weeks prior. We're getting kind of close to that 2 weeks prior to adjust the price based on the increased price of ADA. But as of right now, it's going to be 20 ADA for whitelist price per NFT and 25 ADA for the public. And both of those will launch at the same time. So there's not going to be a delay. If you want to get one, whether you have the whitelist or not, you can jump in and get them on December 15th. I believe it's going to be I'm going to tell you the time later. It's either 10. I think I've got it on the next slides that I'm going to show you. But speakers in any chapter, you can still submit your ADA address so that we can get you that speaker pass. All right, so here's the update. Like I said, I've already given you some of the information. General information, that's pretty much the same. It used to be 50 ADA for whitelist, 60 for public. Now it's about $20 per NFT. Right now it's 20 ADA and 25 ADA as of 11/24 when we made that decision with the jump in price. And like I said, those that want that speaker pass that acts as a whitelist, make sure you jump in on our website and you can still fill out that speaker pass. You can still claim them by the 8th of December, and we'll airdrop the final ones by Friday the 13th. All right, next. Dun, dun, dun. Rarity, there's 4 classes of rarity. 1 is the highest, 4 is the lowest. The covers related to our 10 givers gain pathways, persistence, community, action, habits, honor, faith, wealth, emotions, rarity, and love. Gotta have that love. I don't know why I'm being funny. It sounds creepy. There's Dave Digital in the bottom. For that. And I don't know if you like how I dubbed your X profile over your real face there, Jimmy, but I thought that was just some fun I was having. So Givers Gain,
That's
you all
high
know
quality.
that high quality, right? Givers Gain, and I will give you a sneak peek of that book platform. Even if you got the website there, even if you looked at it, guess what? It's not going to let you in unless you have the Speaker Pass NFT in your wallet. And so you'll be able to connect either a NAMI wallet or a Vesper wallet to allow you to view those chapters. And so right here, we've already got the book platform. Here's the real quick preview. I've already tested it on the back end. So that's pretty much what we've got going on the Mint. We've already got the book platform ready. We're in the last stages. We had an editor review the chapters, and I'm just about to send them off to the book previewer or the book presenter people this next week. And all of that is set. The Mint folks are already doing their thing, getting that website up. So we will have that for you when it comes to the day of the Mint. So anyways, I'm going to kick this over. Redman is going to bring up some crypto bubbles for us and talk a few things, and then we will go around the room and we'll get to our interview with Dr. Wookiee.
Yeah, let me go ahead and share this. Are you guys able to see that?
Clear.
Yep.
Now, as
There
you
you
can
go.
see, we're in the green, right? Why are we in the green? We're in the green because Bitcoin dominance has been going down, and Pollo is going to get into that later. Also, for you out there, going back to the whole Bookman thing, I'm going to create a thread on X. So if you need to revisit any of that information that Tony just spoke about, you'll be able to access it on the Twitter X. So But as you can see, guys, I mean, it's straight up from here, right? Alt season has officially started. We're getting going on this. I see virtual has exploded. It's been exploding for the past couple of weeks. And I'm going to talk more about that later on, virtual and some other base projects that have really launched in the last 3 or 4 weeks. But as you can see,
Red, are you using AI agents? Do you know how to do that yet? Oh, wow.
I am using AI, and we'll talk more about that later. But as you can see, GALA right here in the middle, 17.5%. So it's been a recipient of the Bitcoin dominance going down. And we're going to get into GALA today as well. But XRP continues to climb. Tau continues to climb. And I believe that ENS has really climbed the last week because of the fact that ETH is doing so well. So if ETH does well, the rest of the projects within the ecosystem usually do well. And we're seeing ENS be a product of that. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Send it back over to you, Tex-Mex.
All right. Well, next, I have to bring up my next slide. So anyways, next, I think we're going to go over to Dave Digital. I believe, Dave Digital, were you going to do a little bit of TA for us there? My notes, I had to bring them back up again. Folks, sorry about that.
Not really just the TA, but just to show, you know, I don't know who all follows Frankie Candles, but I got into this trade on Bitcoin, and I'll just show you where I got in and why I got in. So I do the 96-minute and the 3-minute. So that's the 1/16th strategy. I don't know if everybody's familiar, but Frankie teaches this. So if you look here where I was getting in, we had a green dot down here, right? And then if you go back down to the 3-minute, we're going to have a fresh money flow crossover at that same spot from the red. So that's how I knew that was go time for Bitcoin. And so we took that trade, and now we are targeting, again, if you if you follow Frankie Candles the same, I'll pull it up on my higher time frame so it's easier to see. And you'll see here is our value area high, and that's exactly where we're targeting. We're now getting a little bit of turbulence right in the POC area of the POC. So I'm looking for 99,000 Bitcoin. Let's see what happens.
Let's go. All right. So Crypto Pollo, you want to come up, brother? I know you had some stuff you wanted to share today. Bring up those charts. So Crypto Pollo, talk a little bit about.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it quick. I just wanted to go, like, you know, for anybody who's in H bar, we've just entered a new interesting range with H bar. So I'll go ahead and pop that up, and then we'll take a quick look at dominance, and then you know, I want to give Dr. Wookiee as much time, and like I'm super kind of excited right now. So let me share here, and then we'll get this going.
Super kind of excited. How does that work?
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Yeah.
All right, there's
so
stage.
Yeah. So I'm gonna keep this simple, guys, because this is simple strategy. If you're looking at H bar, we are at an exciting point. If you look at the daily, we have just pierced a significant level of resistance. On the lower time frames, we're starting to make this support. And then we got this guy right here. So we got a new range. So for anybody who's an H bar, you know, like I said, I'm very lucky. I've been in, you know, I've actually got in this guy very low and just been adding and taking out of the position. But we have surpassed this low value node, and we are creating support right now in this new value area. So for anybody who's looking for H bar, I just wanted to point that out. Maybe if you can get a nice retest here, maybe you can get a nice entry, not financial advice, but, you know, something that this chicken is looking at.
Can you show current price action?
Another thing, we talked about current price action on H bar. We got at 21.
Yeah. Can you scoot over so we can see it?
Yeah, of course. So this is where we're at right now. And like I said, you could see this was the support. Didn't get there, retested. Here we go. So we are in this new range, 21 cents. I mean, it's kind of crazy to see how far it's gone, but they do have an event tomorrow. So they do have a community event where they will be announcing some stuff, and it's kind of like an AMA. So maybe that's where we're getting this push, but everything else is pushing. So it just could be H bar was suppressed for a long time. So like I said, interesting and exciting for now. And I they don't want to get into the weeds of it, but just let people know we are at a new level, and let's see if we can hold this.
Shoot, Bitcoin's getting a dip right now, so let's see if we can get up to 99.
This is something I like to do. I like my Bitcoin price and then my Bitcoin dominance. What are we seeing here? We are seeing the price of Bitcoin sideways, right? And look at dominance. We're getting a little bounce right now, but if we can continue this down and hopefully get that dominance, I mean, I'd love to see like 50% dominance. But if once we get into the 56 type range, I think we're going to see even crazier price action on the alts. So, that's what I'm looking at. And then I'll kick it back to you, Biomex, and then we can get it with Dr. Wookiee.
Sounds good. So I think we were going to say hello to a whole bunch of people in the chat real quick as the team sees that different folks are there. Dave Digital was the first in the chat. I'm not sure how early you did that. We actually launched the stream to be upcoming as of yesterday. Mike Vollmer,
I got inside information, bro.
There you go. Mike Vollmer and Knox Bill jumped in early. I see, obviously, Redman, the team, Jimmy Jam, all that. But Andrea's in there. Darren Does Things. What's going on? In and Out Crypto. Who else we got? Wix, Wife, Fine, 89. What's going on?
Up 70% on her H-bar trade. Let's go.
There you go. H-bar trade. Let's go. Not financial advice here. Who else we have going on in here? We have Alexandra G., the OG mod, best in the biz. Of course, we got Crypto Pollo in there from the team. Jay Violet, Dark Crash says, drink more water. Who else we got in here?
We got the man with the wooden shoes, Mark Dutch.
We got Pennywise. What's going on? Mark Dutch. Hello. All set. Anyways, hola, everyone. Welcome to Billy Goat Tales. Glad to have you with us. And now we might as well kick it over to Jimmy and Dr. Wookiee. If you guys want to take it away, Jimmy, you want to do an introduction if you'd like, and then we can jump it over to you and Dr. Wookiee for whatever you have to present.
Sure. I know I've gotten a lot of questions, not only from our team, but, people that watch the show and, asking all kinds of questions about nodes. They want to get involved. How do they do it? Do we need hardware? And I know one of my go-to resources for node information is Dr. Wookiee. He pumps out fantastic videos, does a lot of deep dives, does a lot of economics. And that's kind of what we wanted to provide you guys with today, were the economics around the GALA ecosystem, from the founders nodes to the music nodes to the film nodes. And we really wanted to do it this weekend because this coming week, I know myself and Dr. Wookiee have been long awaiting the release of the film token. There's a film TGE that's on December 5th. And I guess we'll wake up that morning and figure out whether or not we made a good investment or not. What do you think, Dr. Wookiee?
I mean, I'll be fine, but that's because of some strategy that I did with GALA Film, which we'll talk about here in a minute.
So how deep, and I know you're pretty protective about personal information, so I don't want to say anything for you, but how deep are we into the GALA ecosystem?
Oh, me personally? Oh, I'm deep. Lots and lots and lots and lots of money deep.
Waist deep, knee deep, neck deep.
Oh, probably at the moment neck deep. Okay. I came in late 2021 during the bull run. So I kind of came in at a not opportune time and didn't know as much about the space and kind of just dove right into some expensive founder nodes. So definitely have not returned my investment on those bad boys yet. Hoping this bull run, we see some more GALA price action. I think it'd be pretty cool if we could get back up to 8 cents. Would be, stellar. I think 16 would be a reasonable, like maybe top. 25 cents would be crazy cool, but I think that's maybe a little out of reach, maybe too high. I think 16 cents would be a great peak, honestly, based on just the amount that's already out there, right? With our billions and billions of GALA token. But
Right.
GALA, Eric Benefactor, the CEO, he's really focused right now, just mostly on the chain and really getting a lot of those burns in, right? Because the more burns there are,
Right.
the more GALA that can be, minted, founder nodes and GALA themselves. So trying to find that nice equilibrium is going to be kind of the goal for him.
Yeah, and I mean, why this has been relatively uncovered by a lot of the YouTube streams out there, I'm just not sure. I feel like a lot of the world has kind of given up on GALA. I have a very different perspective of what's going on with their ecosystem. I mean, it's no secret there's a ton of lawsuits. Most of those lawsuits are I would say not impactful to the company as a whole. Even the lawsuit between the two founders. I mean, lawsuits happen in business, guys, and there'll be some monetary exchange, probably in a form of node licenses and GALA that'll exchange between their hands. I mean, I don't see that as a detrimental thing, but anytime people hear project followed by lawsuit, there's just a natural reaction to be, turned off by it. But, I've said it on here before, we've talked about this many a times, what really attracted me to the whole GALA ecosystem, right? And we always got to be careful when we're talking GALA because naturally people associate the word GALA with, the gaming side of the house. And, that was what was attractive to me is I felt like I was kind of playing the field with the games, the music, and the film. Unfortunately, I missed out on the founders node. I mean, I think when I looked at it originally, they were $84,000 equivalent USD. So they were way up there. The music node I missed on by a day. That was my own fault. I recorded on my calendar the wrong day, the reminder to, hey, buy it today. Yeah, it was a day late. However, I did get on the film node. I thought out of the three, that was probably the best play because I didn't, and we've got plenty of gaming projects. We've got some music projects out there, but in that film category, I didn't feel there was a whole lot. I know there are some other projects out there doing similar things. But the fact that they covered a lot of different areas is what really attracted me to GALA. I'm heavily invested. I would say I'm nips deep in GALA, not all the way up to the neck. And I still believe in the project. I mean, I have a love-hate relationship sometimes with it, but this recent 17% up in the last week, I've got so much GALA, I had forgotten how much just a 1 cent move makes in the portfolio. So, what's your thoughts on that? What was the thing that attracted you, to the whole GALA ecosystem itself and their node?
Well, I mean, really, their vision and kind of what their goal was, at that time of really kind of power to the players, being able to, buy, sell your gaming items. If you game, I mean, some people put in, I'm talking, hundreds and hundreds of hours into games. And when I say hundreds and hundreds, I'm just talking about myself, right? I mean, if you get on Steam, you could see I played, PUBG, Players Unknown Battleground, like 500, 600 hours or something, right? And it's just crazy to think, like, how many people and that's not even superior numbers. I don't know how many people or friends or just folks that
Right.
I know that, I mean, they put in insane amount of time into some of these games. And we've seen like Warcraft, Diablo, some of these kind of marketplace things, like the ability's there, and it's kind of stupid for any company to kind of ignore it in a sense of if they're tacking on fees to those exchanges or whatnot. Some of the games, maybe they're not doing it as much because obviously it's going to cut into their profits. Maybe there could be some option to that as well. But point being, I was just really excited for Gala and what their kind of goal was and what they were doing. And I think hands down, regardless of lawsuits or whatever else is kind of going on, Gala at the moment still top 100 coin. They still have the most connections and the best connections to some Web 2 folks, in the sense like, I mean, they're working with the Rocks studio, right, to make 4 Down, right? They were working with Mark Wahlberg and his studio, to build a movie. I'm blanking on his name right now, but they made Witchboard with something Brewer Jr. or something. My point being, the names are there, and it's a needed and a wanted kind of exchange. Like we're going to get there. Web3 is going to happen. Nobody's going to stop it. Just like when Web2 kind of came around. It's just a question of, okay, well, when, and then who's going to be the big successors? Who's going to succeed?
Right.
And right now, Gala is still top 100 coins. So at the moment, they're still poised to, have some pretty big impact. I think it would be great if the founders lawsuit could, finish and complete. I definitely would, I think everybody would love that to happen, because that's just kind of been a big distraction in the background. But like you said, not sure how much that's, impacting, price or this or that, but I'm sure it's having some impact. It's been a while.
Without a doubt.
It's been a while. Like last news was August. Was the last thing in the court docket at all, because I keep close track of that as well. But for Gala Film, definitely excited to see where this is going to go. I think a lot of people have some concern, when you're looking at Gala Music, right? And how that's just kind of dwindled down and down and down. I talked with them not too long ago, kind of had an AMA with that team, and really what they're focused on right now is how do we retain users and keep users. So I think that's a pretty good objective and focus for the team to think about, because they've done some things with Earl Sweatshirt and some treasure hunt type stuff that got a lot of users onto the platform, but not a lot of those users stayed, right? And so I think that is smart of them to know, like, hey, this is the goal. This is what we need to accomplish, is how do we get people to stay here? And so that's the same with Gala Film too. And I hope they're, focusing on that. But we can go over some numbers whenever you want here as well on some of the Gala Film stuff. Mine, I don't think looks as pretty as yours.
No, that's all right. I was just actually checking the analytics site again, just to see if the token holders count popped up. Me and Dr. Wookiee had a conversation, of course, this past week, and I was telling him about this analytics, it's analytics.gala.com website, and they actually had the token holders count listed. And about 3.5 weeks ago, that particular graph just disappeared. And what I can tell you, when I looked at it last and it actually came up, there were more people holding the Gala popcorn, which is the holder for the Gala film token, than there were the actual Gala token, which is to be expected, right? I mean, we can't do anything with popcorn. If you got it, you can't dump it. So, but what was eye-opening was the number of music token holders. It was low. I want to say it was like in the 28,000 to 35,000 range. The Gala token was, I want to say it was like 260 or 70,000, and then the popcorn was like, it was like 290. It was like 20,000, 30,000 more people holding popcorn over the actual Gala token, and I went on a couple of different shows, tried to pull that chart up, and I don't know. I think they're suppressing that information for whatever reason, right? I don't know why they would do that, but that was kind of one of the first things that I saw. I was like, ooh, I don't like that. I don't like that they're not showing us that info. Though on that site they show us every other metric possible. How many nodes are online, how many are active, things like that. So, but yeah, let's jump in and look at. I guess, Dave, if you want, pull up my screen first, and I'll just do a quick outline of kind of the whole. Let's see here. Why is that not going big? There we go. Just kind of the ecosystem and what it looks like. So again, we've got 3 different channels in that Gala ecosystem: Gala Games, Music, and Film. There's 3 different node types. There's actually more than that, but for this conversation, we'll talk about the main ones, which is the Founders node, which runs the Gala game side of the house. The Music node, of course, is Gala Music, and the Film node, or as they call them now, I think is a Theater node, is for Gala Film. And all types of nodes do require some type of hardware, whether it's a PC house. I know my film node, I do run it here at the house. It just runs on a Windows Docker platform. Run it 6 hours a day or more, and you're going to get daily rewards out of that. But out of the whole ecosystem, the Founders nodes were kind of the ones to have early on. And I know Dr. Wookiee has a handful of those. So, what do you've got as far as economics on the Gala game side or the Founders nodes? What is your revenue stream looking like there?
Yeah. So, for the Founder nodes, probably the mistake I made is I didn't sell like once a month or anything when I got them in 2021. If I would have done that, I'd probably be a lot further along in my, return on investment there. I had this idea in my head that I would hold on to them, the halving would come, that would help the price go up. But, Gala had made a lot of adjustments over the last couple of years. So haven't gotten there yet. But right now, if you did the math at the current, valuation of Gala, it's about $500 a month is what the Founder nodes are producing for folks. And that's
each.
Yeah. Each Founder node. Yeah. So one Founder node. And I believe on NFT Harbor, they were going for about $5,000 a piece, the the Founder nodes, which can be bought and sold right now on the secondary market. I don't know if you knew that. I think the price actually went up a little bit. I think it's now like 7,000 or so since our latest kind of little pump with, the Gala token. Maybe it's back down a little bit because I know they did cut the Gala reward by about 50 Gala a day because somebody made a mistake and they weren't counting the unminted Gala on Gala chain into the total supply. So they've made that fix, and so that made a little dip in people's rewards daily that people noticed and were not happy about. But everything is correct and accurate now. But yeah, on NFT Harbor, that's like the Gala, OpenSea basically. You can't actually buy Founder nodes at this time now because they are NFTs, and they're the only NFT, so you can't do it with music or film or anything like that at the moment.
Right.
So
if
you did the math, they're going for about a year's worth of Gala. It's how much that you have to buy them for, if that makes sense. So,
right.
you can make your guess and you could sell it for a year and assume that Gala price is going to go up and you're going to get, more value from that, or, get the Founders node and think we're going to have some long-term love going on.
And as far as, I guess, are you seeing, like, I know with the film nodes, as new films are released, right? I mean, you're seeing the surges, but on the gaming side, there hasn't been a new title release per se. I mean, there's stuff that's in alpha and this and that, but it's been a while since I've seen any, true new title hit, the Gala Gaming website. Are you seeing, is this a pretty on a daily chart? I mean, are you seeing a lot of up and down, or is it pretty just steady across the board?
It was pretty just kind of steady, like a steady downward kind of pressure for quite a while. With the latest, bull and everything that we've kind of had, the price has gone up and up and up, so Gala's kind of rising with the tides and everything. I don't think it's specific to anything that's come out lately. As always, Eric Schermeyer has been in the chat mentioning like, oh, we got some stuff coming down the line that's going to blow your guys' mind. I always take that with a grain of salt because, we hear different things early on. Like Gala Music, I believe, was supposed to, I think it was, Kanye, I think was supposed to be on Gala Music or something. But obviously,
Yep.
whatever legal stuff happened, that didn't happen. So it's kind of cool because you have this Discord, you have the CEO, you get to hear things early, right? But what that means
Right.
too is when you hear things so early, that means that maybe something isn't gonna happen, and stuff falls through all the time, which is unfortunate. But it is what it is. And then with the
Well, it
Spider
was good
Takes
when
lawsuit,
Jason was there.
yeah, a
Well, it was
lot
good
more
when Jason was there too, because he'd always come on a
communication.
show and he was always slipping up something,
Oh yeah. And the communication was
whether
like
that
really
was,
good, Yeah.
accidental or on purpose or what. But
Yeah.
I know what was it when you guys were on with us on the X Space? What was it? I think was it the Gala swap? I don't know. There was something he slipped up on, and
Yeah.
so Founders Node. Obviously, I guess the retail direct prices up in the 94,000. You're saying we can get these things on the NFT marketplace for
yeah.
how much?
Like 6,000, I think, is about how much they were
5 or
going for.
6,000.
I haven't checked in the last week, but
Okay.
like 3 weeks ago or so when I had looked, they were like $5,000-6,000 worth of Gala, which obviously is like what a 5% of the retail value at the moment. So if you ever wanted a Founders Node, now would be the time. Or you could buy up a bunch of Gala token, but since the price has gone up now, 4 cents, not going to be as big of a gain either.
No, yeah. I would much prefer go down the node route. I mean, 5 or 6 grand sounds a lot better than 94. And that's a reasonable ROI. I mean, really in any business. I mean, if you can start a business in a year, actually show a profit, that's not a bad thing. So what about on the music side of the house? I missed out on that. I really wanted to get in on that. I don't know if that was maybe a blessing in disguise, that it worked out that way, but what are you looking like on the film side?
Yeah, so I had only gotten 2 music nodes, okay, and I'm really sure at that time I think they were $2,000 a piece when that first sale was, okay.
Yeah.
So I got 2 of those.
I think that original.
And it wasn't too bad. And honestly, I think I don't know how much time it was, maybe just even 6 months in. I had sold some music token and got my ROI. So made my mistake with founder nodes. This time I was like, yeah, I'll go ahead and pull my ROI now. So I got it, so I can't be sad about it or anything. I got my ROI from it. If I added all the money I spent on maybe some of the tracks, maybe it's a little more negative. I don't know. But right now they are, like I said, just they're trying to develop a way and methods to retain people before they do some more pushes of trying to bring people in, and then just waiting to see, who they bring over, or if they get anybody signed. Otherwise, it's just kind of been chill over there. I think the film side I've been a little more excited about.
What was her name that left?
Bucks.
Talking
about Bucks?
Yeah, the blonde.
Yeah, the British.
Yeah, that was a big loss on that front.
Yeah, I think she left like it's probably been about 1.5 years now. Maybe it's been some time. And then Taco had left as well. So so just waiting to see stuff to happen, basically, right? Just hanging out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, hurry up and
um,
wait.
but yeah,
And
now
what
now
is
the GALA
music?
film is the excited part.
Yeah, I mean I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, there's definitely some questions still on the film front that I haven't gotten answered, and that, I have, I've put a little thought about it, and I don't think that I'm gonna dump on, if there's an availability to do that on day one. I don't even know what that offboarding path is going to look like. I searched right before we went live just to see if there was any announcement of, if there were any exchanges or dexes that were going to list it, or is this just a TGE event, and then now we're going to have to convert film token over to Gala and exit that way.
So
'Cause
so film
bel-
is gonna be an ERC20. So there will be a ERC24 film. And I
Okay.
was snooping around. There's like a dashboard now on the film, and there's a button that says convert popcorn to film. Obviously it's grayed out at the moment, but I saw the button, it's on there. So yeah, it's under, you go to your account and there's dashboard. So go there, you'll be able to see it. You'll be able to see your popcorn buckets there too with numbers as well. And so yeah, it is on there. So my guess is it's going to be a convert to film on the Gala chain, and then you'll have to bridge it out to Ethereum. And then, yeah, I haven't seen any dexes yet. So that's the big question, right? I mean, being American, I'm restricted, right, to a crap load. So all these companies are always like, hey, we're now listed on, insert whatever bit and then whatever 4 letters you
right.
want. I can't use it anyways, typically. So usually I'm relying on Uniswap for stuff, but
Yeah, same here.
I mean, that relies on us as a community to have made some kind of liquidity pool, and if you do that yourself, yeah, you can earn some, fees and stuff, but you could also end up with like 100% film at the end of it too, depending on, buying and selling.
Right. Dave, if you want to pull that presentation back up, I can show some of what I have dumped in to my Gala film node. So, the current cost of a Gala film node is 144,000 Gala, which is about $5,400. When I got mine, it cost me 349,000 Gala, because I think the price of Gala was under a cent or right at a cent. It was really low.
You can
I've
tab down to
spent-
your
and
slide.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead and tab down to your slide for the film slide.
Oh,
I'm not
did it
seeing
not?
it. I'm just seeing the node ecosystem
Oh, hang
slide.
on. Why didn't it? Why is it not changing? It's changing on my side. What's
There
going
you go.
on
There you
there?
go. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Yep. Right
Okay.
there.
This
Yeah.
is where I was. So I've got another $10,600 in NFT boosters. So I've got about $16,000, a little over, total investment in the node. Now, the thing with the film nodes is, yes, you can just buy a node and just run it and not spend money on NFTs, but I don't even know how long it would be before you'd see an ROI on that. So what I'm learning myself about the film node, as far as, I'm treating this like a business. So I'm trying to, project out, what is this thing going to look like? What is it going to take to sustain, good rewards, and kind of what does that translate to on a daily reward? How many dollars per day am I making off of this node? And as you start getting into this stuff, you'll see. And I guess just to back up for a moment and explain to the people that don't know, once you have your Gala Film node up and running, you can go out to the Gala Film site, and then all of the different films or series that they release, you can buy these moment packs. And it's a little bit confusing. There's these mystery boxes, and then there's the moment packs. So the mystery boxes are going to unlock possible Gala tokens, special content. There's various rewards there, but the moments which are typically $80 a pop for every moment, and it's going to cost you $80 to get. There's usually 8 moments to a series, and then as you get more and more NFTs, you're boosting your rewards by 10, 20, 30, up to 50% if you get the whole series of NFTs. So what I'm showing here are the 5 different series that have been pushed out, and I have NFTs for. I've put in, $2,500 to Ghost of Ruin, $2,300 in the Razor, $3,800 in the Wish Fart, so on and so forth. And while that's small, you can kind of see the number of net popcorn that I have received, for having those NFTs and running my node. All right. So currently, because there's not a film token, when they started the whole film node thing, their rewards were based on consecutive days of running that node. All right, so you ran the node one day for 6 hours, you got the welcome bucket. If you ran it for, I think, 5 days or 7 days, you got a small, and then it just worked its way up. And I think to get a mega bucket, you had to run like 100 days consecutive, uninterrupted, 6 hours a day. And if you ever failed one day, if you ran less than 6 hours, then you kind of started going through this whole, popcorn bucket chain. So initially, that was the rewards. We'd get these NFTs. Sometimes you would open them up in mystery boxes. That was another way to get popcorn, was in those mystery boxes for the different films. And this coming up with this number was actually very, very difficult, because some of these nodes were paid with, or some of these NFTs were paid with cash. Some of these NFTs were paid with ETH, and then some of these NFTs were paid with GALA. All right. So all I did to kind of come up with these numbers to be relatively accurate was I based it on $1,700 ETH, because that's about where, if I look at the date that I bought the node and what the price of ETH was, that's roughly the same time frame. So $1,700 ETH, $2 GALA, and then, cash is cash. So I did all the math on that to come up with, some daily reward numbers, or what that looks like to have an ROI on day one. So out of all my popcorn buckets and the popcorn that I've generated, I've got 113,910 film token. So the ratio is, for every 1 popcorn you have, you will receive 10 film token. All right, so that's kind of how I got to this, total number, was counting up my popcorn buckets, doing the math.
You're actually a little too low here, which once we pop over to my screen, I'll show you the math and stuff. But the mega bucket actually gives you a 187 popcorn, I think.
Oh, even better.
Because basically
Only
the bigger the popcorn
those.
bucket got, more boost. They got boosted. There's like a extra percentage.
Yeah, because and they were so confusing about their chart, because it was like a range, right? I mean, this was pulled
now I have an exact
original blog post.
Yeah, I have an exact number for you now. I'll show you.
Okay, gotcha.
Too.
So
but,
I mean, even at that, if I'm a little bit higher, that's great, But let's base this on 113,000 film. So what does that look like on day one? Are we in the green? Are we underwater? What does it look like? So as of 11/27, that number 113,910 is what I'm basing all of this on. I'm also basing it on the fact that I've got 16,000 total invested node and NFTs. So all of this is kind of theoretical, on day one of film token being a thing, and what the price action is. So, at 3 cents, I'm 12 grand in the hole day one. Doesn't mean I won't dig myself out of that hole just with the, rewards going forward. But, we're just talking about day one instant film token is alive. So you can see there's a scale there, of 15 cents. I mean, I'm basically break even on day one. So I'm really rooting for a 15 cent or more film token in the near future, if that's possible. Which I think it is. I mean, the music token, when it launched, I mean, it ran up to 34, 35 day one, but then it really, fizzled out pretty quickly. But the tomorrow of it kind of looks like this. So what I did was I went back literally for the last 30 days, looked at every reward that I had received. That included all the daily rewards, and then periodically I just get dumped a whole bunch of popcorn there's not really any explanation. I hadn't missed any prior days, but all of a sudden I got 200, popcorn. So kind of what I'm basing this on is I'm averaging 620 film token a day, and then kind of running the numbers out. I mean, if film is at 3 cents, then you're making about $18 a day, 6,500 a year, little less than 2-year ROI on that. And all of the ROI numbers are a little bit high, but you can see, I mean, man, if film does decent, I mean, that's probably anywhere between $20,000 and $30,000 a year in revenue, which is great, right? But then there's some considerations that I think we've got to make, right? And that is, we'll probably have, and I'm totally basing this on, from the moment that you could basically start buying NFTs for, all the different film projects. I've spent, roughly $11,000 over the last year on those NFTs. So, I mean, to maintain, the rewards I'm getting and increasing that, you're probably going to have, $10,000 or $11,000 a year in NFT expenses. But those rewards are compounding, right? So if I'm getting 620 now and I spend another 11,000, I mean, I don't know if it'll be 1,200 or if it'll be, 900, but those rewards are going to compound over time because they're in perpetuity, right? Or until they pull them off of the library. You're receiving rewards when people watch that. And it seems as though, I've been trying to figure out, what types of or what genres are the ones to really ape into as far as the NFTs, because it seems like the stand-up stuff hasn't done as great as, let's say, the original series Razor, and the Wish Fart, the kids series, has, for me personally, dominated everything as far as rewards. Now, granted, I have spent more money on that series. I've spent $3,800, but I mean, it's pumped out more rewards than almost all of them combined, the other 4 combined. So that's a kind of an interesting takeaway that I had with looking at these numbers. Was that, not those. Yeah, those numbers. Is that, these numbers should, in theory, compound, right? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping to see higher than 15 cents when we come around to that. I can pull up some of my numbers from just the token.
Yeah, pull them up.
Some of the tokenomics and stuff. Let me see if
let's see what you got.
Let me see if I know how to present here or whatever. Share screen.
Yeah. Share screen, or you might have a tab up at the top. You can tab through tabs or share a full screen.
Yeah, let me do the entire screen here. See if that'll work. I'll move this over here. And
there you go.
Zoom this in a little bit here. All right. Yeah. So, I think I got my film nodes around June 8th, 2022-ish. I was trying to look back. I think I got them for around $4,000 a piece-ish. I did grab 4 of those for just one node. And this is like without any of those NFT boosters. One node made about 6,000 film so far. So, your numbers, and did you buy any of the Common Ground mystery packs, Jimmy? The ones that had
Yes, I
popcorn in
did.
them? You did. Okay.
Yes, I
Um,
did.
Yeah. So if you didn't do any of that, you just had a node, you only have like 6,000 film, for the past almost 2.5 years ish. And here's the breakdown here. So for your mega bucket, you're getting 1875 popcorn, the extra large 1150. So these kind of larger buckets, you get a little bit of extra bonus popcorn in there as well, which I can send that to you afterwards
Oh,
if you
yeah.
really want to kind of
Yeah.
check it out. Now,
'Cause I'm
when we're looking
grossly
at
under.
the light paper, which I don't know where my screen went for that one. But the light paper says that there is no pre-mint for the team or for anybody else, blah, blah, blah. So my question is, it says no pre-mint. Does that mean Gala is going to be starting with 0 film? Or are they, deciding to give themselves, basically like the same amount of popcorn that is out there right now? Arguing that they're 50% operator. Technically to me, that means that they shouldn't have any day one. I'd have to ask the team and see if they're willing to kind of talk about that or not. But if you look at the light paper, it actually shows over the next 10 years that Gala's percentage goes down by 5% every year. So they start at 50% for year 1, 45% for year 2, 40% for year 3, and so on and so forth until they're at 0% after 10 years. In that time too, the rewards for nodes are supposed to increase kind of substantially. And then you were mentioning you get dropped some popcorn randomly sometimes. That's probably because of the quote ecosystem supporting behaviors. So when you buy moments, you open moments, all that stuff, they actually you get like points for the day. And so you actually get some popcorn from that. So if I remember correctly, they actually launched Gala Music at 5 cents. And I remember that because everybody was like really pissed off. Like, why are you guys launching at 5 cents? Yada, yada, yada. But that was pretty much pointless because the price immediately went up to like 19 cents. Like as soon as they launched. So even though they said they were launching at 5 cents, it popped up to that 19 cents like right away. And then it went down to like 15 cents for a while. When we really zoom in on those first couple days, yeah, like you said, at least CoinMarketCap showing like 26 cents, 27 cents, 20, kind of dipped down after like a week down to 10 cents here before it kind of bopped back up between 15 and 20 cents for a while. And then of course, the concern for folks is that, over time, we're going to get this kind of downward pressure and then end up somewhere, low like this, which is a possibility. I mean, it all depends on how Gala Film performs. They are 2 completely separate teams, and the connections they have, and we know what films they have coming out, right? Which a number of those are legit like theater films, and we know they're working with theaters and everything else. But I can only imagine the politics or whatever else that's kind of behind that. So for me, film prediction, could we see 30 cents like? In the first week or not? I think it's possible. I think it all depends on whether, how much Gala has and whether Gala is going to be trying to sell any at all. I would assume Gala Film isn't going to try to sell any of their own tokens right away. But I try to do some math to figure out how much film we think would even be out there. Like you said on the analytics page, I can't see those numbers right now. I should shoot some messages and see if they're going to work on fixing the analytics site so we can see those numbers. But I did
checking
look.
The box show.
Yeah, right. So I did look. There's 2,400 nodes online. So if we did the math of purely, you're running nodes, not moments. That's like a 15 million film or so. There's a 500 million max supply, which is in the white paper, which is low. That's half the amount of music as well. And then I was trying to do the math right before I came on here. This is what I was doing is I went over to the Common Ground mystery boxes and I did the math to see exactly how much popcorn was in 10,000
all
of
the
these
mystery boxes.
So for the second edition, so version 2 of the mystery boxes, there actually was only 450,000 popcorn in the 10,000 mystery boxes. So that second version 2, they really only put out about 1 million popcorn. Now I was trying to find the old images showing how much popcorn was in those first 20,000, because
It was
it
a
was
lot.
almost, yeah. And really the big change would be, instead of this welcome bucket here, which was like a 65% chance of a, welcome bucket, this was small. And this said small, and then the small like said medium. So, we're talking about, they probably, gave away, I'd put at least a 0 on this, so maybe 10 million film. And
Well, that makes sense,
first
because
one.
I mean, even when we were talking the other night, I went heavy on those mystery boxes early on, and it was like I was just getting large popcorn bucket after large popcorn bucket. And then, and I had bought like, man, I want to say I bought like 100 of them right in that first batch. And then I bought a whole bunch later. And then later it was like I couldn't get anything but, the welcomes and the smalls. So that
Yeah.
makes sense what you're saying there. I mean, it totally makes sense why I saw that such a difference in those NFTs being in those mystery boxes. That
And I know when I figured that out, when I looked and I was like, wait a second, I start doing the math and everything, and I didn't get the math done for you guys now, but when I was doing the math, buying those boxes, it was like you were buying film at like 3 cents a film. You know what I mean? Like it was really like, quote, that cheap. And I was like, holy crap,
Right.
like this is insane. And then I made a video, and then the community sold them out. So, I apologize to GALA Film themselves, and to anybody else who had already realized that and was trying to, buy up as much as they could. Cause I dropped that video, and I was like, guys, this is insane. Like, value, blah, blah. And then, they just disappeared in no time at all. And then when they came out with the version 2, they, really adjusted it down. Obviously, it still pretty good. If you did the numbers, it's still a pretty good deal, considering, how much you were getting. So, yeah. So,
I remember when you put that video out. I mean, I went out there and loaded up. I want to say that was probably that 100 mystery box, because they had them on sale too, didn't they? Didn't they run a special or something like that? I remember I just bought a whole bunch of them, like a lot.
I don't remember. I think they were $5. And then because I think I bought like 1,000 boxes personally. So I think I got about 1,000 of the boxes. Yeah, because I mean I did the numbers and I was like, oh shoot, like I'm running my node. And this is where the GALA Film definitely made a mistake with those boxes and like how much popcorn that was in there. Because we're running our nodes, and 2 years of running the nodes, and I have 3,000 popcorn. Versus, I could go over here and just, have spent, if I would have spent, $4,000 or all 4 nodes, if we would have spent $16,000 or $20,000 purely on those boxes and not nodes, we would have been, way better off as well. Which,
yeah.
I mean, that's the truth of it. And everything's is a learning, there's always so much learning to do in the field in general. And what I mean by that too is even like with Aether, I had talked about Aether checker nodes. Those sold really well for the team and stuff too. And then, later on, then they were like, hey, we're coming out with these devices called Aether Edge devices, which were like physical little miners, right, for us. And I was doing the math, and I was like, oh my gosh, it makes way more sense for me to buy these Aether Edges than the checker nodes themselves. And so, like that's team's decisions to make, and that's what happened. And I bought a bunch of Aether Edge nodes too. So yeah.
Let's see. I mean, anybody paying attention to the chat? Because I've been listening to Dr. Wookiee. Do we have any questions on?
Jeffy did say in my chat, he did want to let you know that the floor price for founder nodes are $6,600 right now. Is what the floor price
on
is.
The secondary.
Yeah, on the secondary is $6,600 for founder's node.
I know that
94,000.
Go for it, Dave.
No, I was just going to give you the floor so that you could reset the room. I know you've got stuff that you've got to go do. And then we've got a question from Red and from Andrea.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Wookiee, for coming on. Jimmy Jim, Redman, Dave Digital. I know Crypto Pollo is down there waiting for his camera to come back up before we bring him back up. But I'm going to be heading out, and I'm going to head out around this time. But the guys will keep this going. Appreciate having you very much. Thank you for spending time with us today.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Tony.
Tony.
Have a good day, bro.
Later, Tony. Red, you had a question you wanted to ask Dr. Wookiee?
Yeah. So, Dr. Wookiee, first of all, from our chat, Andrea asked, "What's the competition to Gala? Like, what's the node competition? What's the
Oh.
coin competition? Is there another gaming? Is there another gaming coin out there that does what Gala does? I mean, it seems
Let's
like
see.
they're
Let's go.
all-
Let's go at the same time. What's number one, Dr. Rookie? On the count of three. You ready? One,
For
two,
for
three.
gaming token,
G-Fall.
Ronin.
Yeah.
So I think you got to break it down here. So we have Gala overall, right, which they're really shooting for to be like an entertainment kind of like chain, right? Even though they say like, hey, our chain can be used for all kinds of stuff, businesses, blah 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 blah. I want to say from the Gala film side, okay, I don't think there's any competition. The competition is themselves, and really it is up to them to screw it up. They are absolutely in prime position to be the Web3 film folks. And here's some alpha. I don't know if you guys have heard, but they are currently in the contract. I don't think it's solidified yet, which I hate when things aren't solidified because crap falls through all the time. To have Gala Film app on 1 million TVs.
wow.
Okay.
Mm.
So if that gets signed and that's like green light and stuff, and they get put on, over 1 million TVs, that are being produced right now. And I don't remember if it was like, Toshiba or TCL, I don't know, whatever, but 1 million TVs period. And it's on there, next to your Netflix and your Paramount and your HBO or whatever. I mean, just visually being there, I mean, that in itself is just advertising, right? For people to be like, hey, what's this? Especially if it says free, Gala Film free. And it's like people are like,
Exactly.
what's on this? You open it up, and you're like, oh, this is where that 4 Down documentary is that, Dwayne Johnson made. And here's this other documentary or whatever direction they try to go or whatever. Here's Witchboard with, the Brewer actor. I mean, that could really end up popping it off later. So I will say, if I sell any of my film token, and I did this with Gala too over the years, whenever I sold some, I was always looking to buy back because I always have a fear of missing out in the future. So it's like, if I sell some and then the price goes down, I like buy it right back, like what I had sold, because I mean the possibility for the film token, I think, is honestly like way bigger than music myself.
So if somebody wanted to buy,
I completely agree.
I'm just trying to track you here, Dr. Wookiee. So if somebody wanted to buy a film node, music node, a Gala Founders node, where would they go? Is there a galagames.com or is there where would they go? I don't think we talked about that. And then the other part of that is are these nodes are they hosted, or are you actually running code and doing everything yourself, hosting everything yourself? Let's talk about the functionality, because I don't think we've talked about the rewards, but we haven't talked about the end user part of this.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the Gala Founders nodes, music, film, whatever, you have to run these. So most people run them on VPSs. I've made videos on exactly how to install them. I mean, you can be as computer illiterate as possible, and if you follow my video, you will get there, right? And that's how my channel started, by the way. Okay, so it took me forever to get these freaking Gala Founder nodes installed when they updated it and changed it, like this version 3 point whatever. And I was like, what a huge pain in the butt. I have been working at this for over 12 hours today. Finally figured out all the tricks, blah, blah. And I was like, you know what? I bet the community would love a simple install. So I got on there. I did the install video. That's how I got started. And those are still relevant now. I'll link people to those as well, in the future, or I do all the time. And right now, Rack Nerd, that's like what I use specifically for VPS. I'm always telling people the links are down below. And if you do it, it's $38 for the year to get your own VPS. It's just $38. It's pretty freaking cheap. It's so cheap that it's cheaper to do that than to run your own computer because of electricity in the United States. Like, just the cost would be way more than the $38.
And a lot of times, I mean, if they're all Ubuntu too, I mean, you can stack them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
so
what's
you're not
nice
paying
too,
that $36 per.
Yeah, and what's nice about Gala specifically is once you install the Gala node software, then you just add the workloads. So it's not like you're installing a Founders node and then you're installing a music node and you're installing a film node. No, you install the GALA node system, and then you just, add the workloads on there. So it's not too difficult. And so for film, the goal is to be running, decentralized, basically decentralized Netflix, right, through other people's machines and stuff. So the minimum requirements might go up in the future. Gala Music, it's a little easier to stream music through stuff. And then the Founders nodes are really all they do is like IPFS, but the goal is to have them like actually running Gala chain in the future as well. And then, yeah, go ahead.
And then, thank you for that explanation. I think we just need to clear the air on that, because it's not something that's always talked about and nodes aren't really overexposed. I think nodes are very underexposed. I don't think there's enough people talking about nodes and the passive income, and it's a better play most of the time than just buying the coin itself. So, in order to buy these nodes, do you have to have Gala first to buy the node? Is that how this works?
On NFT Harbor, where you can, buy on the secondary for like a Founders node, I believe they accept ETH as well as Gala.
Is it an NFT? Is that how?
Yeah.
You buy the NFT and then it starts spinning up. Well, you're going to spin it up. Once you get the VPS started, then you're going to spin it up. Okay.
Yeah. So you buy the NFT, you put it into your account, and then I think there's like a lock button. So you pay like 100 Gala to lock it or whatever it is. And then that's like linked to your account now, and you can now be authorized to like run the node. I'll say that, the alpha for everybody for passive income and everything else for these nodes is really, if you want to have the most, like be the most successful or have the best chance of at least getting your ROI back, you want to be in right away, right at the ground level if you can.
You get the most rewards. Yeah.
And for a lot of these projects, they do like a tiered system, like, tier 1 is $490 in ETH and tier 2 is $550 in ETH and so on and so forth. Right. And so like for my channel, I'm dropping node projects all the time. And I love accuracy, so I break everything down as specific as possible. And I'm really, really careful now about not putting anything that I think is crap or that could be a rug. So if a team's not doxed, I don't care. Like, I'm not even going to consider you or think about you if you don't have your faces out there. But lately, I've been really trying to be where are we going to get the best bang for our buck? And not to like sidetrack from Gala games, but like I just put out a video. I'm going to have another one coming out here like earlier this week. Impossible Cloud Network is launching their nodes on December 5th, their node sale. Same thing. If you're able to get in there and you're able to, on the public scale, get tier 1 or tier 2 or maybe even tier 3, I think an ROI is like easy to get. On some of these things though, when they're like at tier 11, it's like, you kind of miss the boat. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, maybe you could still ROI, right? But your risk has now gone up and up and up, right? If that makes sense. And I really break down, like, with every time I put something on there, like, what does this node do? What's their purpose? And, how much do I think they can succeed? And I love being transparent with my my viewers as well, my community, so they know how much am I putting towards it. Because there's not a single project I talk about that I haven't personally put money into or towards, if that makes sense. So somebody here's like, hey, I bought 3 Huddle 1 nodes. They're like, oh, okay, Wookiee, put some money towards that. But then when they hear like, oh, I'm going to buy 100 Impossible Cloud Network nodes, which is like $50,000 worth, people are like, holy crap, he's going really heavy on this. He must believe in it. Now, like we always say, right? I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just another guy in the world, right? So it's not like I have like secret, information, right. But, I really break down information. If it's something I'm like, man, I love this team. I love the numbers behind it. Then, I'm going to go heavy into it because I want passive income for years, right? Like I could sell my ADA right now, get my little, my nice profits that I have. But what I like to do is hey, let's roll this over. And let's actually start creating wealth. Okay. Screw being rich. Let's get wealth, right?
It's easier to believe somebody if they're actually invested into the project. I mean, why would you be there? The only reason you'd be shilling something that you didn't own is if you're making money from it outside of, owning the token. So
right.
My next question is 0xVM. If you don't mind, just because I own a node. Jimmy owns a couple of them. Is there any new information that you can give us? Maybe TGE, maybe when the token drops?
So the team told me that they would have TGE before end of year. That's what the team let me know.
Oh, nice.
0xVM, one, I was super excited about it because of it's kind of like finding like a small market cap coin or something that is like, you feel really strong about. Because man, when you got those nodes early on, we're making a killing, based on the tokenomics and the numbers and everything, right? Like, I mean, I did the math and I was like, dude, I only need to see whatever it was, 1 cent value for me to get an ROI back, which is, just crazy. I think it'll be higher than
that's a real quick, Dr. Wookiee. So that's another question I had. So, all right. So this is a layer 2 on Bitcoin.
Right.
Okay. So this has to deal with the gaming sector, correct? 0xVM
and DeFi. I thought it was
game and DeFi. Okay.
I think there was a lot of DeFi associated with it.
Would it make more sense to dump? Does it make more sense to dump when it first comes out, or would that be a coin that maybe you should hold on to because the utilization is going to go way up, right? The use of it is going to go way up because there's going to be more people on the network using it for other than just a store of value.
Right. And so this is one of those things where we get to where we're like, who's gonna be the winner for this like section? And what I mean by that is Bitcoin DeFi is going to happen. Like 100%. We're going to see a gigantic Bitcoin DeFi like revolution in these 3 years here. Cardano's working really hard on it too, which I think is one reason we've seen Cardano kind of, bump up a bit, is because Cardano's trying to do a wrapped Bitcoin on ADA to kind of get this DeFi stuff going there as well. But DeFi 100% is going to go over to Bitcoin, and we're going to see some freaking crazy numbers in that market. So, once you find and you think, hey, this project, they know what they're doing and they're going to be able to, see some great production value here, I think they're going to make a killing. And I think 0xVM can be one of those, they've created kind of SDK and the tools and everything, and for DeFi, for gaming, for all these things on Bitcoin. And people would love to have stuff on Bitcoin, right? On Bitcoin network and stuff. I think people would just, especially Web 2 folks, right, would love to hear that. Is my opinion.
The way I was looking at the tokenomics and everything, when do you think this thing will be mined out? I mean, we're still a little early. I mean, we've only sold 3,500.
Well, you only got
10,000.
3 years.
3 years, yeah.
On those, I think it is.
Yeah.
So if you ROI when this thing first comes out, if you ROI right away, all the rest is profit. So this is, to me, this is a great buy. It has a lot of promise. But yeah, I'll let you kind of expand on that. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah. I think it has just a ton of promise. Their little Scribbled NFT thing too. I don't know if you've seen them talk about that. But I really want to get one of those as well. These whole like runes on Bitcoin, all this other stuff, basically having NFTs on the Bitcoin network. That's just another step, and another usability for this, project as well. And I always tell people too, with nodes, with all these projects and stuff too, like you have to have some patience, because I feel like crypto, especially just the crypto mentality, is like, I want money now. I want to see my returns now. And in any of these nodes, if I ROI after a year, I'm happy. That's good. Like 1 year, I get my ROI back. That means everything from there is just, profit, like you said, right? But I think people get really, really fixated right away on making their ROI, that people make some stupid decisions about dumping their token like immediately, on the market. And then, maybe a month later, now it finally starts to see its climb, because it's shook out all kind of the weak hands. And then people are like, oh my gosh, I could have made double, blah, blah, blah. With film too, yeah, it's a hard decision, right? Like, do I dump some? Do I wait? And I really think it just depends what your numbers look like when stuff comes out, because there is always a price that you should sell at, right? I mean, if GALA Film comes
if I could
out,
take my own money,
yeah,
off the table, I mean, that seems to make sense, right? I mean, get your investment back, playing with house money going forward,
Yep. Yeah, I feel that
not
way
dump
all the
it
time
all.
about the house money thing, right? Like, yeah, if you're able to get your money out, then it's like, hey, the rest of it's house money. I mean, I can tell some of you have been, the craps table or something, the way you're talking about house money, blackjack.
Yeah, and I mean, the OXVM, it's 10,000 nodes. They've got 3379 sold right now, still $700. I mean, what's your feelings about jumping in today on one?
So for them, I still think it would be completely reasonable to get in, and that's simply because of the low number of nodes on 0xVM. I pushed this one quite a bit.
Yeah, I
I think
agree.
so much so my community was getting annoying hearing me talk about it, but it's because I was like, guys, I'm doing the math, and I'm telling you, because of how low the node number is, I mean, you are going to be doing so well. And I think most of my community has at least one node in them now because of just how many times I was pushing them. Just because I was excited. Because a lot of these nodes, man, after like Impossible Cloud Network, I'm telling you, like after December 5th, by the end of the week, it's probably not going to be worth it at all. Just because the tiers, I think, are going to be, too high at that point.
Explode.
Aether was like that too, man. I mean, Aether immediately was just like selling out. And then, I was seeing some people still buying at like tier 22 or whatever they were at. And I'm like, I wouldn't now. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's like you've gone too high, so your ROI is going to be much more difficult, to get back.
I like the simplicity in this node, because all it is you're buying the node and you're waiting 2 hours to let this thing sync up. And then as soon as that, well, roughly 2 hours, probably a little more to let it sync up. Then after that, you're already accumulating rewards. And
Yeah.
then you're just waiting for TGE, basically.
Right. And that's a
Yeah, and
big
this
part
one
too.
is
I was just going to say, when you have to
go ahead.
run a node. So this is one where you click the delegate button and you're done. You don't have to monitor a VPS, nothing like that.
Yeah, here.
And those are my favorite, that's for sure. Because even though I've learned how to do all this stuff on Linux, I've learned Ubuntu. I didn't know any of this stuff before, GALA and stuff. Not having to do installs and to have check on stuff and to do updates and all this stuff is so nice. So being able to just let everybody, delegate these and earn is too easy.
But those are the ones that scare me the most too. And when you just say delegate, I mean, it's kind of like, oh man. I mean, not so much on this one. I feel pretty good because, yeah, you're right. I mean, the team is super doxed. I think what they're doing is cool. I don't know if it's necessarily needed, per se, but I think it does give warmth to, kind of the Bitcoin people out there, the maxis. But I've been watching this one essentially I look at my daily rewards. I started off with 3, and as the daily rewards dip below 1,000, I just buy another one. As long as these numbers are staying low, 3,000 nodes, that's nothing. When you're talking, there's 10,000 available. So if I can keep my rewards above 1,000, I mean, I've got 86,000 total earned, and 58 of that's fully vested. So get a good release on price action on that. Yeah, I mean, that's a quick ROI. Probably not as fast as the OSMI AI stuff, dude. Let's talk about that one for a minute.
Yeah, that was
what's your feelings there?
That was a nice little kind of sneaky one, huh? So yeah, for the OSMI AI
nobody's
one,
talking about that.
Yeah, I know. I think 2 things. One, I think a lot of folks that have been around Gala are just a little hesitant for Gala nodes in general. Okay. Now OSMI AI and what they have kind of got going here, the big push that they're doing is the censorship. It's supposed to be like censorship resistant AI, a lot more open, and will actually answer some tougher questions kind of deal. But they only sold 1,000 of these nodes initially, which means people's rewards are gigantic. And of course, how much was OSMI? I think at the time of the sale, OSMI token was like what, 30 cents?
Yeah, it was like 32 cents.
Yeah, the lowest I had seen it go was like 15 or 16 cents, like a week or two before. And the nodes were only purchasable in that OSMI token. And then they burned all the OSMI token that was used to purchase these nodes, and they locked their liquidity forever. So that's another like big plus. So a lot of big pluses to this group as well. And they sold out 4 or 5 hours, I think. Sold about 600 of them like immediately in the first like 10 minutes or so, and then that last 400 over a couple hours. This OSMI, what are we getting? We're getting like 550 OSMI a day.
550 OSMI per node per day, and I went out and checked it on there, which I wish. Come on, guys! I mean, got me going and looking at a JSON file and opening it up on a notepad to see if I'm getting paid.
yeah, that's a pain.
But
Hopefully
day I have been.
Hopefully they get the
Get my
dashboard up and running.
payouts.
Yeah, I mean, if you did the current valuation, right, which of course there's nobody with OSMI to sell it right now, so there's no downward pressure at the moment. But at 30 cents, you're talking about $160 a day. So you're talking about like a 7-day ROI at the current valuation.
Yeah, 7 to 9 day ROI. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, even if it dropped to 15 cents, right? That's what, a 2-week ROI. If it dropped to 7 cents, that's a 4-week ROI. So I think the first 1,000 folks will probably be pretty happy, when things kind of roll out. They'll sell more nodes in the future for sure, so that'll dilute it a little bit in the future. But this very first group, even if they just have 1 month of this like early, high end rewards, man, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of in disbelief, and I was like, oh man, this is almost too good to be true. I'm getting that feeling. We're going to get rugged on this one, but I mean, they're developing on GALA chain, so that's good for all of us across the board.
Yeah.
But
and I dropped
again,
an installation
this is
video
one,
for it as well. I don't know if you already installed it, but
on what? The what?
The OSMI nodes. I dropped like an installation video for them.
Oh yeah, no.
They came out for the
came
VPSs.
out like 10 minutes after I had got mine up and going.
Yeah.
I was like, finally, I got this thing going, and I mean, they had a really good how-to, and when I saw I had to run on Ubuntu, I was like, oh man, it's definitely, I mean, I come from an IT background, I own an IT company, but it's been a long time since I did anything in that. But their how-to was just, drop this, and good to go. It was easy to deploy. I used OVH, I think, is my host on those. Run a little SSH to the server, fire off the commands, and let it rock and roll. It was a super easy deployment for someone that used to know Ubuntu, but I've forgotten so much about that. It's been a long time since I've had to do any work in it, but it was really easy. Outlined it step by step. Couldn't have got any easier. I just wish they'd get that dashboard up and going, because that is a pain in the butt to go see, to make sure that you're getting rewards. And I'm sure they will in short order. What other projects you got your eyes on that's coming up?
Yeah, so right now, already mentioned, then Possible Cloud Network, super stoked about that. And I don't know, so this is a good thing for your community or you guys in general, okay? If you don't have a business, you should set up a business. It's not hard. It doesn't cost that much money. Yep. Set up an LLC. Every time you buy a node, that is a business expense, okay? Every time you mint that token from your node, that's income. So if you're minting tokens, you put down that as income. And then if you're buying nodes, right, now you're writing that off as an expense. You can zero that stuff out for your taxes, blah, blah, blah. Highly recommend doing that sort of thing. I have a CPA I work with. And so that's another reason why end of the year here, I'm dropping 50,000 on, these ICN, networks, because depending on what tax bracket you're in, you're basically getting another discount, right? When you're dropping a bunch of funds into some node expenses like this. So that's one big reason that I kind of push into this. There is another project, but I can't say a single thing about it at all. I don't know when that's going to
Uh-oh.
be, maybe a month or so, but that one will be very enticing and intriguing for folks for sure.
Gaming or
It is gaming related, and it is with some names and some people that people are already aware of and know, and
oh,
maybe
okay.
enjoyed from the Gala ecosystem or something. But yeah, that one I'll definitely be chatting about when it comes around here. But ICN, this Impossible Cloud Network, I think is kind of my year end wrap up kind of thing. I'll see if there's anything else kind of popping up, later December here, but looking to start wrapping up the year here, trying to do numbers everywhere. I think profits and losses is the biggest pain in the butt. Even if you use Coin Ledger or something else like that, man, you have to like go through and ignore things and, make sure everything's accurate. It's kind of a pain.
Yeah, I mean, I did similar at the beginning of this year. Filed for a couple of LLCs, put my company equity under one of the LLCs, moved all my crypto, moved all of my note, just and everything I've done, going forward. I've had that, can I put this on the business card or is this a personal expense, and really separating that stuff out and treating, I've got, I know I don't have as many as you, but I've counted it up the other day, and I've got 40 nodes. Out of the 40 nodes, I think, what did we say the other day? I think 8, maybe 6 or 8 of them you can't even do anything with right now, with
Oh, yeah.
the huddle and
SoFon is coming up. December 18th is when their mainnet is launching. So as soon as that stuff comes out, I'll definitely drop an install video for the SoFon nodes as well.
yeah, okay. But I mean, that's for you guys out there. I mean, if you're looking to get into nodes, I highly recommend following Dr. Wookiee. I mean, he's got great info. If you go out there and look at any of his videos, he does a lot of deep dives. Like he was saying earlier, I mean, he fully discloses his exposure to these projects. And he's my go-to when I'm looking to what's next, what I want to do now. I got some extra money, do I want to buy a token, do I want to buy a node? And for me, the node thing is kind of my meme coin. I mean, the way I look at it is putting into action the strategy of getting in early, earning as quick as you can. Hopefully on a TGE event, you end up in the green day one. But if not, I mean, that's okay, right? I mean, because those rewards in theory, and especially in the film node world, while you're going to have some expenses in NFTs going forward, in theory, that 620 Gala a year from now should be 1,200 with buying new NFTs, new projects, or new films coming out. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I mean, December 5th is. I'm a little nervous about it, but again, I look at it and just say, hey, if I'm not profitable day one, that's okay. I'm gonna get my money back unless a project goes underwater. I mean, it just the question is how long, right? And it's no different than spending $1,000 on a meme coin and hoping it 100x's or anything like that. I mean, you probably got a better chance of getting rugged out of $1,000 on a meme coin than losing $1,000 on a node project if you're smart about it, right? I mean, are you invested in projects that have doxed individuals? I mean, and like Dr. Woogie's saying, I mean, if you can go out there and connect the dots, where are these people been? What are they doing? And then what is this project about? Is there a need for it? I mean, there's all kinds of questions I ask myself. I use Dr. Wookie's information as kind of the seed, and then I just take his information and go validate and agree or disagree or, whatever that is to come up with my own conclusion. But I would say more often than not, the Wookie's right.
Hey, I always want people like doing their own research, checking stuff out, looking at it themselves, and then really, weighing it and deciding, like, hey, does that sound like something that I want to jump into? Because I don't ever want people, trying to stretch themselves too thin, like pick and choose, send me a video, take a listen, and then you pick and choose like whether
Yeah.
you think, dang, this is something that sounds really, really cool. Or, you know, this gaming studio, like I think, was it Moonvale or is it Revolving Games? One of them has like the Rockstar like CEO founder guy on their board and stuff too.
Oh, that
So I
was
was like, it was
I think that
Moonvale
was
or Revolving, right?
that was
It was one of
revolving,
them.
wasn't
Was
it?
it Revolving? Yeah, I think you're
I
right. I
think
think
it
it was
was.
Revolving Games. Yeah, so you know, I try to be as accurate as possible too. That's one big thing that I try to pride myself on the channel is I try to get every little nitpicky detail I can, so I can be as accurate as I can. But you know, I don't always choose winners either. I got a lot of Galaxis engines, and you know, the token has not done super great. And when stuff like that happens, though, too, I would tell you to also just kind of keep your emotions in check. Be patient. Be patient. I'm
Yeah,
just sitting
yeah.
on. I'm just sitting on the token. I have a crap load of Galaxis token. I'm just gonna sit on it. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for them. They're working hard. It's not like they've just disappeared, you know, or rugged either, you know. And if you got a group like that, you know, they're still working hard, you know, trying to make collaborations and try to do stuff. Just be patient and wait. You know, that's what I'm doing with some of these projects.
Yeah, I even like what they're doing. I mean, I know I got my Wookiee card, but they, you know, they're basically NFT type project, dynamic NFTs. So you could, you know, we could have a Billy Goat Tales membership card, and then, you know, maybe if you purchased the book, um, you know, you get a little, I don't know, badge, I guess, on the card kind of thing,
Yeah.
and that can translate into additional or rewards or reward boosters and things like that. I mean, it's a pretty cool little project.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, I don't know if it's a standalone project. You know, it seems to me what they're doing would get bought up by a big studio and well, one of two things, either shelved or, you know, integrated into one of their uh, platforms or something like that. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I do have one of their nodes. I've got a little bit of the Galaxis token piled up. It's not a lot. I think I'm in the 70,000, 80,000, but it's locked up till April, just to get those extra bonus
Yeah.
rewards
The
that
boosts.
they were offering for locking it up.
But they're developing some pretty cool functionality to really simplify it for communities and you know like the owners of those communities, KOLs, you know, musicians, artists, whatever. To a cool way to be able to kind of make the NFTs easily and bring a little value to their communities and stuff too. So I think it's a pretty cool project, and I think there's a future there. So just waiting. I know that they had made some of the Trump NFT cards for the
Did they?
yeah they did. I forget exactly which ones, but behind the scenes they were paid to create some of those for as well. So the fact that they have like some connections and stuff, so I'm just being patient, waiting, and
So maybe they just got a bad marketing team.
give it some time.
They're doing stuff and no one's talking about it, you know.
I know, right?
And that's, I think, pretty common in the crypto space. You know, I mean, you got a lot of talented developers that don't know a dang thing about, you know, one, running a business or marketing. You know, I see that a lot. Oh man, I mean, did we get any more questions coming at us? I don't know if. Scroll back up because I haven't been paying attention.
I think we had maybe one from Andrea up here was talking about why did they use something. Let me go back up. That's been a little bit active.
You know, another project I'm pretty interested in was the deep nodes.
Oh,
that was
yeah.
another one. Hopefully they get their ducks in a row. They had some.
Yeah, I think they just got out their first shipment. So I think I'm supposed to be in that first shipment because I wanted to do an unboxing video and show how to like plug them in. But I'm really excited to see how that little project pans out too, honestly.
Yeah, for people that don't know, that's basically a deep, I guess you'd call that a deep in play. It is I guess the best way to describe it, it's a decentralized platform for running other people's nodes.
Yeah, more or less. Like, I mean, if you really want to simplify it, it's basically its own little computer that you're going to plug in at your house. It's going to, run off your power and internet, and you're going to get paid in Deep coins. But this is a group called Deep that runs people's nodes for them. So if you're like, man, I don't want to get a VPS and I don't want to watch a Wookiee video on how to install this and how to do this and how to do this, you just send your API keys to them, and boom, your stuff's up and running. They guarantee like 100% uptime, all this stuff. And then, you pay however much it is, a month for them to do all the work for you.
Yep. So, I mean, there's, lots of different opportunities out there if you want to get exposure to nodes. I mean, if you don't want to have the headache of, dealing with hardware, and I use that term very loosely. I mean, it's not really a headache. I mean, it's just some extra steps that you have to go through to start earning rewards, if you will. But, any project where you can delegate running of your node, that's not going to require that hardware. I feel like the risk factor kind of goes up a little bit because, you're not in control of it. And, granted, the rewards hit your wallet, but it seems like it leaves a lot of doors open for scammy stuff to happen, and then you got the VPSs are easy to spool up, not difficult at all to do. And then there's some, what was the other one? So we had you got the hardware type node, you've got a delegated type node. It seems like there was another flavor of one that I'm not thinking about.
There's some,
but that
like Carve, you can delegate just to somebody else's node that's running. So instead of like 0xVM where you just click the button, you're done. Carve, you would choose a person's node and then click delegate
provider.
to that node. Yeah, I guess that's maybe a different one.
And I know, like, companies like I know for my high chain nodes, I think it is, I've got those stuffed up in NodeOps. NodeOps is a pretty good site if you're interested in getting into nodes and running a VPS. They make it super, super easy as far as a lot of their projects, you can buy the node license right on their website and then turn right back around and host it on an annual basis, all within their interface. So it's not like you have to go to a different website, buy your NFT, let that hit the wallet, then come over to another web. You don't have to do all of that. But it's just how much time do you have? I mean, realistically, on a weekly basis, maybe 10 minutes that I spend looking at my film node. And when I say I look at it 10 minutes, that's getting an email saying the node's offline, usually because I had an electricity blip or something here at the house, and turning it back on. Once you got them up and going, it's not like you're doing really anything other than, is it on? Yes. Okay, I'm done. What did Retro Mike says is gives off a vibe that they just want to make money from the hardware. Are we talking about Deep? I'm assuming that's what he's referring to. Let's see if he says yes. And I agree. If that's the one we're talking about, is Deep, because yes, I mean, all you're doing is buying a small form factor computer that's running all these projects by. Oh, yeah. That's exactly what Deep is, Retro Mike. It's a mini PC running Linux. I think it was. You remember how much those were? Were like $1,000?
Yeah.
I think it was. So yeah, I mean, you're buying a $600 piece of hardware and for $1,000, if you will. I guess, you know, the good thing is if I can get them up and running and run them for a year, and then if bad turns worse, I'll turn them into Windows machines and put other nodes on them. You know, I mean, that's the good thing about them is that, hey, you could repurpose them after the fact if it turns out to be a bust. But I agree, you know, the companies that want to sell you hardware along with the ability to mine, you know, they're definitely hedging on that. I mean, $1,000 for realistically what's a retail price, $600 computer. I could probably get them for way less than that, but you know, it's an opportunity. I think I mean, the idea of their project is interesting. I guess we could just wait and see, you know. I know I emailed them. I was like, bro, you know, what's going on with the shipments? And I guess like 3 weeks ago, he emailed me back and said they had the security issue, which makes me feel a little bit better that they caught that before it all went out. I mean, sounds like they're being thorough. But I'm anxious to get my hands on them and just see what they do. I could see that as, you know, if you're talking about reducing VPS costs by 90%, which is kind of, you know, what their claim to fame is on those deep network stuff. I mean, that's significant, you know. I mean, that's saving a lot of people a lot of money, and it could really take off. But again, that's one of those projects you're just not hearing a lot about, you know. Well, you have anything else for us there, Dr. Wookiee? I mean, we sure appreciate you spending some time with us. I know we had some hit and miss sessions. I mean, life takes over; it happens. But I'm glad we were able to pull all of this together and be able to do it today. You know, a few days before the film TGE happens. I'm hoping for the best. It'd be nice to see a 15-cent day one, knowing I'm in the green and it's, you know.
Oh, let's say 30 cents.
Smooth sailing.
Let's say 30 cents. It'll be nice to see a 30-cent day one, you know. We'll see.
I might have a hard time not liquidating if it's 30 cents.
Depends where the is, you know, or I mean the centralized exchange. So
what did I say? It was 119, I think it was. 119,000 at 30 cents. That $35,000 payout.
35?
Yeah, right below it.
Can't ignore
I mean, that's
it,
not bad. That's a year. I mean, literally, it was almost to the day that we're doing this stream. It was about a year ago that I made the purchase. I think it was November of 23 when I bought mine. So I'm excited. You know, I mean, this is going to be probably my first, you know, big win, or I'm Thelma and Louise right off the cliff. Just one of the two. We'll see. Reg, you got anything else, man?
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody, Billy's book is out, Bridge to Bitcoin. That's out. You can find that on Amazon. I was trying to find the link for it in here. I don't see it in the banners anymore. But as soon as we get that link, we will put it up. And I just want to remind everybody, tonight I will have a post out talking about the mint that's coming up, excuse me, for December 15th for Billy Go Tales. We'll be minting our NFT book. There's 1,000 mints possible. So within each mint, you get 3 chapters. And it's like any other NFT mint. You can mint the same chapter over and over again. Or you can mint, it's going to be pretty hard to get the whole book, but you can get most of it in a couple of mints. You could get, but it's because it's random.
You can trade them with your friends, though.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, you can trade them. You'll be able to trade them if you need a chapter, or if somebody else has an extra chapter, you can trade them. And you could do it that way. And you could do that through our Discord. So if you haven't joined our Discord yet, please do so. Our Discord link is on the Billy Goat Tales Twitter, and that's at Billy Goat Tales on X. So go ahead and give us a follow. And for those of you who liked and shared our video today, thank you so much for helping us get the word out. Dave or Pollo, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, just one thing. Well, first, thanks, Dr. Wookiee. Thanks, Jimmy. I mean, that's great information. So if I'm a node virgin, so I followed you, right? What would be like a good first step? And I mean, man, I can load Ubuntu, but I want the easiest one to get my feet wet. What would be a good place to start at, or a good place to find some research?
I mean, honestly, the 0xVM would be the absolute easiest one because you don't have to set up any VPS or anything like that, and they're earning tokens now. That's another aspect I didn't really mention. Like some of these, like I've talked about ICN multiple times here. Even though they're selling on December 5th, the nodes aren't going to be able to be run for into January would be the most optimistic. They're putting a conservative estimate to like May, right? So kind of like SoFun that me and Jimmy had talked about. We've been sitting on those nodes since summertime, huh, Jimmy? I mean,
Yep.
I think it's been about 5-6 months, and now we're getting to mainnet launch. So that drives a lot of people nuts too. Not being able to start earning them yet. But yeah, the absolute easiest ones is going to be something like 0xVM, where you just click delegate and you're done. But I will say, if you get in on any of the ones that I promote, I always put an install video out. And truly, if you just go step by step, you're like, oh, okay, I got it down. That wasn't too hard.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm here too if you need it. I mean, they're really easy to deal with. I mean, like the OSMI AI, they couldn't have made that install any easier. That was the first time probably in 10 years that I messed with anything related to Linux. And I mean, literally, it was copy and paste I think it was 5 different commands. And then after you were done, you were kind of like, okay, well, is it done? You go back to their website and it would show up linked, which still didn't give me a warm and fuzzy feeling. And I think it was like a day or two later, they came out with a way that you could verify that you were actually getting, rewards from the OSMI stuff. So, that's another one. It's very easy. I mean, get your VPS bought from, Racknerd, what is it? OVH is where I went with mine. I mean, there's tons of VPS providers out there. I mean, you're just looking for the most cost-effective thing that you can get. And then literally you just connect to the VPS and then type in the commands and you're good to go. So, OSMI, unfortunately, I mean, you missed the boat on the initial launch there. Crap, I thought I was going to miss it. I was glued to their Discord the day of release. And people started saying, well, it's going to be after 2 p.m. Central, so I kind of let my guard down. I ended up falling asleep. And right about the time I fall asleep, they put the post in Discord. It was available. And when I fell asleep for 30 or 40 minutes, when I woke up, there was like 250 left. I snagged the first one. And then I thought for sure when I, hit refresh, they would all be gone. And there was still like, it was under 100. And I was like, man, I'm going to go ahead and get another one. So I bought a second one of that. And like Dr. Wookiee was saying, I mean, geez, the price action stays where it's at. I mean, you're talking about a 7 to 9 day ROI. It's almost too good to be true.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's the entry dollar wise, and how do you buy them? It's easy.
Well, the OSMI, you're going to have to wait till the next wave, right? I mean, that's kind of the downside to the nodes, like he was saying. I mean, you got to be early, right? And, I throw stuff in our own private, Teams chat all the time. Hey, guys, this one's coming out, get your ducks in a row, get ready. And that's kind of a downside too, right? I mean, you got to be in early and you're just hurrying up and waiting because day one, you can't even do anything with the damn thing, So after I started getting 20 and 30 and of the 30, 10 of them aren't running, I was like, crap, man. I was like, I need to make a damn Excel spreadsheet so I can mark what's running, where it's running, and what's not running, because by the time some of these launch and you can actually run them and start earning rewards, you forgot you had the damn thing, So, that is a downside, I guess. I mean, if you were going to call it a downside, I mean, you might buy a node and it be 3 months before you can even earn reward 1. you know. But I mean, there's a lot of exciting things out there. I mean, I would definitely bookmark OSMI. I don't even think they indicated when a second wave of those would come out. I mean, 1,000 nodes is really low. I mean, traditionally it's usually a 5 or a 10,000, probably more traditionally is a 10,000 node release. So I'm not quite sure, what that's going to look like. Are they going to, poop them out 1,000 at a time, or are we going to, the next wave, will it be 9,000? I don't have that answer right now. But I definitely wanted to get in on it because it was that first kind of AI project developing on GALA chain. I mean, it's an ecosystem play for me.
Someone put in the chat, can you run multiple nodes on a computer, or it has to be one computer, one node?
Yeah, you can run a ton of nodes on a single VPS.
You can.
Just depends on whether
know.
it's gonna run smoothly or not,
Yeah.
right? So if you get too many on one,
right.
it's probably gonna get a little tired. But I have
it
all
will
my
turn
GALA
into a
nodes
death match.
and some other node. I have like 3 or 4 different types of nodes on one VPS, and I'm surprised how well they do.
Yeah, it depends on how big.
It depends on whether they're proc heavy too. If it's a processor heavy, type node, I know. So I've got my film node, and then I run NiceHash in the background because that computer's got a 3080 in it, and I know at times, I don't know if it's the film node or it's probably NiceHash causing the problem, but it'll lock up the server. That's the only downside to, and I would say that only on Windows based operating systems, right? I mean, if you're on a Ubuntu, yeah, I mean, you can stack them bad boys up, at least to the limits of the hardware, of your VPS. You can put multiple multiple nodes on a single VPS. Yeah. I don't know if I recommend it, just for that very reason. One thing happens with with one node and it causes problems with the rest, right? One node affecting 3 or 4. If you can afford to have the segregation, I would segregate. But if you're working on a budget, you got to do what you got to do. You pile them on and rock and roll.
And I'll say a lot of the nodes too, like OSMI, you can only run one OSMI node per machine. Like you'd have to have multiple.
Right.
You could run an OSMI node and you could run a GALA's founder node on the same machine because they're different.
Right.
But there's only a few projects where you can run like all 10 of your licenses on one node, if that makes sense.
Andy's asking, can I claim a loss for each node /LLC for downtime? Well, there's an interesting strategy. I didn't even think about that one.
Yeah, I didn't either, honestly.
I mean, I guess realistically you could.
Should you claim a loss?
Well, yeah, I don't know if that's a extra horse eye from the IRS that you have to deal with. But
yeah, I probably wouldn't. But...
So my tax guy, he would definitely say yes. My tax guy would. I mean, he comes in my Lego studio here and he looks around. He's like, I don't see anything but losses in here. And I was like, I like the way you think. Yeah, I don't see anything but losses either.
Nice.
So I would think, without having to jump through any hoops, I don't see why you couldn't. I guess it would depend on why the downtime occurred, right? I mean, if you ended up in the weeds on that, is it down because your machine crapped out, or is it down because your internet's out? But I would think you could definitely do.
When you guys say VPS, what is
virtual private server?
Oh, okay, all right.
So it's you just think of it as opposed to being standalone bare bones hardware. It's bare bones hardware running multiple servers, leveraging the same hardware, right? It's hardware sharing is what you're doing in a VPS. Now some of these hosts do offer dedicated servers which is way more than what you need, unless you're going to pile on multiple nodes that run on Windows operating system. Then it might be beneficial to do something like that. But I try to keep things pretty segregated.
Let's say you have like a 16 core workstation with like Xeon processors. Can you just spin up virtual machines and run the nodes on the virtual machines, or is that not
Sure.
I am gonna have to bounce out of here, guys. I do have another engagement I gotta go to. But thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. Love the chat.
Thank you, man. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, we'll see what's coming.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you coming out and dropping some alpha on us. I'll definitely be tuning into all the new films. If y'all would like to follow Dr. Wookiee, I think we've got his Twitter handle up there on the screen. I know we've got some information in the description also. When can people find your videos? You just come out whenever, or?
Oh yeah, you gotta sub and click the notification thing. Yeah, I don't have any specific time.
That's what I do.
I kick them out when I can. Yeah. So.
Hey Jimmy,
Right,
if you don't mind.
Well, I am disappointed Dr. Wookiee did not comment on my shirt today.
Oh, look at that
Especially
Pac-Man
for him. I
with
did
the
not
Death
have
Star.
my
That's a clever.
the
mix.
Death Star is a Pac-Man eating, I guess, Andor and somebody. I don't know what was the red planet. I don't remember what the red planet was.
Yeah. Cool.
Alderaan.
Yeah.
No, man, but really, really do appreciate the time and that you've taken and the information you give and divulging, what your, founder and music nodes look. I was curious to even see, what those things were generating, because I haven't really seen a lot of people putting a lot of information out about that. What are the economics of running anything in the GALA system? So I think this was eye-opening for me. I didn't think I had spent that much. I thought I was more in like the 10 to 12 range, but after I went through all my transactions, I was like, dang, every time I was plugging in a new number, I was like, man, I have spent a lot of money on this, and now I'm a little nervous, but I'm looking forward to it, man. And thanks again for showing up today and taking the time to, have pre-meetings and trying to get our ducks in a row. I know we really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Dr. Wookiee, thank you.
All right, man. You take care.
Yeah. Good night.
I was so disappointed in my soundboard. I had Wookiee sounds and everything for today, but for some reason it wasn't cooperating at all.
Oh man.
So I just scrapped the idea.
All right, bye.
Yeah, take it easy.
All right, man. Take care.
All right.
Well, that was
So
good
Jimmy,
stuff,
so is that
dude.
possible? Is that possible
What was
to
that?
run like I have a workstation with it's got 2 Xeon processors. They're like 8 cores each. So you can do virtual machines and then run nodes on those virtual machines. It's just basically how much
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you just
That's another way,
make a small boot partition just to get the server up and going, and then fire up virtual servers via the hypervisor. That's built in. I think you need Windows Pro to do it, not Windows Home. I think I don't know. Does Windows Home do it? I think you need Windows Pro to do it. But yeah, I mean, you can. And even with kind of what we were saying there at the end of being able to stack nodes, we didn't really talk about it today, but I mean, I've got the film node. I've also got a GALA Reps node, which is their social media node. And I also have a private, what's the game? Last Expedition. I have a private game server node that doesn't pay rewards. That just allows me the ability to run my own private server. So like, my friends and family can come in and play. And all of those are running in the Docker system, kind of once you get into the GALA node system itself. Like if you started with film and then you went out and got a Founders or whatever, it's literally just kind of activating it within the software running on your computer. You tick the box, say yes, run these workloads, and then it'll check in with GALA. If you've got the license to run it, it'll start sending the jobs down to your node. of whatever type it is. If it's film, great. If it's Gala or the gaming side, it's all in one interface. It's only different interfaces when you're going to different projects, and they're not running in Docker. And Docker is, that's readily available out there. You just go out there, you download it. I know the Gala film node, I had to dig a little bit for the how-to to get it up and going. But once I found it, it was easy. It was a dot released by Gala. It's just buried in their site, in their help section. So I don't want people to be scared to go down that VPS or just running it on a home computer kind of thing. I mean, you just leave your computer on all the time, and just let it go. I mean, it's very easy to do. Any good project's going to have step 1, step 2, step 3. I mean, this is not a difficult thing to deploy by any means, and we're always here. I mean, I'm always here to help. I mean, people need help trying to get their stuff going. I mean, just reach out to me, I mean, I'd be more than willing to help, get you started. And it's a lot, it's hobby like. I mean, it was something that was kind of a natural progression for me from, doing ETH mining for a while and making damn good money doing that. But once that kind of went away, and GPU mining isn't really, it's super speculative now. So I figured, man, if I'm gonna go down a speculation road, I think I'd rather go down that node road, just for the simple fact that I can invest, I'm gonna get rewards, I can make my money back on a decent project that doesn't, rug on you, and it's just a matter of how long. Is it a week? Is it 2 years? But I think 1 year, I mean, if you can run your numbers and you're making, I mean, I think anybody in business will tell you, if day one you start and a year from then that you're turning a profit, I mean, that's fantastic, right? I mean, a 1 year on ROI on any investment in the real business world is minimal. Usually it's 2 is what you're looking for. What Retro Mike said? Oh yeah. Any Linux process can be doctored too. Yep. Very true. It just boils down to, do you have the equipment in house to do it? And if the answer is no, I mean, the thing you got to consider too is that, does your internet go out a lot? Does your power blink? If you're ticking any of those boxes, then you just go down the VPS route. Those machines are in a purpose-built, dedicated, environment to be always on. Because that's the thing, right? I mean, when it ain't on, you're just losing money. So, even the.
No, I was going to ask you.
Key on Retro Mike's point. It depends on your budget too, right? I mean, if you don't have the budget, then you're going to be running this stuff on your own at the house, right? But even some of the hosted solutions out there nowadays, they're, again, if it's on a Linux Ubuntu or any of the Linux platforms out there, you're getting that hosting for dirt cheap. I'm talking like $100 for the year, or less, to run those. So it's not a huge investment. I mean, there is some risk, but $80 a year, I'm willing to take that risk. But I have an assortment of all, right? I've got some in VPS. I've got some that run here at the house. I've got some in my office downtown. Some of my miners, because we don't pay for electricity in the building, so free electricity. I put them in the server room downtown. So it's you got to weigh those options out, right? I mean, if you've got a 600 or 800 watt power supply in a computer, you're probably going to burn $50 a month. In electricity. I mean, you will see it in your electric bill, if you've got a pretty steady electric bill. I mean, the first month you got the thing running 24/7, you're going to see probably a $30 or $40 increase on your electricity bill. So it's pay me now, pay me later. You host it with a VPS and pay that money, or do you just pay the electricity company for the electricity? Again, you just got to weigh all the options out.
That makes sense for sure. And then I gotta ask
Yeah, that was a
everybody.
fun stream.
Yeah, that was awesome. I gotta ask everybody, 100K this month, 100K. Jimmy,
December
are you
20th,
on the
dude. All right, so I said it last week, December 20th. I've got a matter of fact, I made a little chart. I made a little chart on my my trading view from the 16th to the 20th. I made little uprights, and I just want to see the little candle football go through the uprights.
Okay.
That's what I still feel. I still feel the week of December ending December 20th. So I think that's like the 15th or the 16th through the 20th. I think that's the window of when it breaks out, right before Christmas. Just like it did last time. I mean, if you look back, I mean, we did the same thing, right? I mean, election day came, we pumped 12%, Bitcoin pumped 12% when Biden got elected. And then, you know, kind of after the election victory, if you will, wore off, the price dwindled down a little bit. We went down, and then right before Christmas, I mean, that was kind of the true launch, right? I mean, that one right before Christmas is what it just did. It went that way,
Yeah.
with some
Yeah, for
pullbacks along the way. But that was kind of the. I mean, if you look back at that chart,
Retro Mike,
I mean, you'll
Retro
see.
Mike said 99,999 on December 20th.
He just to undercut me. Okay. All right. This is Price is Right, closest to the retail price without going over. But that means, so that does create a quagmire that he's throwing that number out, you know, because if you're within $500, don't you win both showcases? So we're within $1. So whoever's right gets to win both showcases.
Yeah, you do have a point there. What about you, Red?
I think in the short term, we're going to get a little bit of a pullback, but I think it's definitely attainable in a couple of days. I mean, I would love to see it right now, but it's just, I don't think it's reality. Not right now. In a couple of days, yeah. But, and I think price can go up with the dominance going down. I mean,
It's already happening. Yeah, we're seeing it. It's happening now. It's already started. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think
this is a little pause. You know, it's just a little Bitcoin pause. I mean, everything else is catching up. I see that as being a great thing myself.
Bullish,
Bitcoin
bullish.
was running hard, you know, and while we had a couple of daily correction candles, I mean, it wasn't like we really had a correction, because the very next day it was engulfing candle on the downside candle. And, you know, I felt like it, man, I got a feeling, just because 100,000 is such a psychological number, I just felt like as we got closer to that 100,000, people were going to start selling off a little bit because, oh my God, it's 100,000, you know, no other reason than just that psychological number. And that's exactly what happened. You know, I mean, we're seeing this little sell-off, take a little breather, let the alts catch up, and, you know, buckle up, because then the next part of this trip should be beyond the moon. I mean, I honestly believe that. Everything's been right on schedule. Right on schedule.
That's we're still on schedule. And I've told people, you know, start paying attention to when Coinbase starts becoming top 10 in the Google and Apple Store downloads. Like, start paying attention to that. I don't know where I think we're very close to Coinbase being number 10, and I wasn't able to look it up. So Andrea says the 22nd. I'm on the middle of the month, so I'm going to say the 16th. I'm on the 16th.
I think DDT said the 16th. I think he was the closest to mine last week when we were doing projections.
So,
and I think he's right. I mean, I think that week it's going to happen.
I think this next week is going to be a little bit of a correction, and I think after we get through this next week, we're back to seeing gains.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a ticking time bomb right now. I mean, it's just a matter of days.
Oh, so
Darren
said
the 6th. Oh, he said the 6th this week.
The 6th.
All right.
Super bullish.
Yeah, man. Y'all
What
know I'm
about
long and
you,
strong
Dave?
looking for 99,000 right now.
Wrong.
What is the digital
love
of
to be
days
wrong.
thing?
I'm long already. You already know. I'm looking for 99,000 right now.
So what
I
day?
don't
What are you
care
saying?
about 100K.
You just want 99. So 99 by
Yeah.
when then? Wednesday?
I would like it by this evening or in the morning. That'd be fine. I'm in a trade. I'm ready to close that one out and go to another one.
All right.
I mean, I
That's
can't
how I
lie.
play.
The end of this past week, it was like I was making 30 grand every time I went to sleep. All I wanted to do was nap all damn week.
Right. That's it. All right. Well, guys, let's wrap it up. We've gone 2 hours and 15 minutes. I know Billy's going to be very proud. You degens, you bad kids, you baby's kids did a great job. You didn't burn down the house. So we're excited. I think
Not too
Billy's going to
bad.
keep us
There's
all.
some stains on the wall.
Oh,
dirty
well,
dishes.
those will wash off. We'll just paint over those.
Some old bologna in the fridge, but we'll get all of that cleaned up before Billy gets home.
yeah.
Well, cool, man. Givers gain to
Well-
everybody out there. Don't forget to use the hashtag while you're out there in the wild. We love seeing that. Don't forget that we have our mint on December 15th coming up on the crowdsourced NFT book coming out. All of you guys are in it, so it's going to be really exciting. We're excited to put it out there. Billy's excited from a business standpoint that this is one of the best business books that he's read. Even though that he's a little bit biased, I think he is one that would have a great opinion on that. So we're excited about all that stuff. So we have TradeFly and we have FD White coming up on Tuesday on our X Space. So we'll see you guys 9:00 on Tuesday night. And until then, Billy Go Tells out.
All right, guys.
We're clear.
The system, we're still live.
And
Is that screen? And cut.
And
Somebody in it.